Hey music fans, as a roadie I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and BIOS and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. This is my next video with my friend Donald DIAS. He'd never heard of Tommy Johansson, but there is a little catch, and we'll get into that when we start doing this. His dad is Denny DIAS. Denny DIAS is a founding member of Steely Dan. He's a very good musician in his own right. I've seen him play guitar many times. He's a really talented dude. If you're interested in listening to him, you can do so on SoundCloud. His name on there is Iron Snarf. And if you would like, you can also find him on Twitch and Discord. His name on there is Midnight Munchies Manifesto. Anyway, I hope you've been enjoying his reactions. He truly is a nice dude. Let's jump into these and let's see what he has to say about Tommy Johansson. Anyway, let's jump into this one.
All right. Were we listening to Toto right now?
Okay, so sort of. So I know your dad's history a bit. I'm familiar with obviously the Steely Dan, but one of the things is Toto. And so yeah. I love Toto. Everybody loves Toto. How could you not? And this guy, Tommy Johansson, is he does covers once a week. I'm a big fan of the dude. Have you heard of a band called Sabaton?
Yes. All right, cool. We got one. We got one. Yes.
We got one. It's good.
I love Sabaton.
He's the guitar player of Sabaton.
Really? That's fantastic. They do like that historical like metal music, right?
You rock. All right, so I'm super stoked to know Sabaton because I'm a big fan. I think they're so cool, and I love
Sabaton.
Yeah, so he's the guitar player. I'm not going to say little known fact because in Sweden, he's from Sweden. They know he's a good singer. He's a great singer. But outside, he's the guitar dude from Sabaton who doesn't sing in the band. Joaquin does, as you know. So this is him performing, and he's playing Africa by Toto. So I thought that there might be a fun little link in there for you.
Oh, absolutely. Once the song is done, of course. I'm assuming, or we can get into it now. It doesn't bother me. None.
Oh, whatever you want. I don't know. Do you want to explain why Toto matters to you? You can say it to you.
So Toto matters to me. The top of them being an amazing band is my godfather was Jeff Porcaro. He was the drummer for Toto, and on the song Africa, like that's him doing the drums. Like you hear that song like bam 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 bam. That's the drums right there for him. He passed at an early age for me, unfortunately, but this was his band.
Cool. All right, so then we're going to play something that I really hope brings back wonderful memories for you. But we'll see. I don't know. Let's get into it, and you can let me know what you think, Donald. Let's do this.
All right.
She
high octane as fuck. That was great.
Liked it.
Oh man, it's always an emotional song for me. Regardless of who I'm hearing play it. Uh, such a good song. But yeah, no, Sabaton guitarist, fucking nailed it. I love this man. Seems like
Cool.
I'm looking at the screen right now. Iron Maiden, Aces High, Over the Hills and Far Away, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, he works his
He does
butt
a
off.
lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
no,
comes out
I
with stuff a lot, and I like it's like the respect he shows to the original track, but he always puts his own thumbprint on it. He makes it a little different to in
there's
my opinion.
emotion in his performance. Like I felt it. And that's what matters when it comes to music is you feeling that performer's emotions like pour forth into the song. And
Yeah.
he really gave that song everything he had. And he did it a lot of justice, more than a lot of justice. That's my favorite metal cover of Africa now.
Yeah, all right. Good. Very good. All right, cool. Okay. So have you heard of a fella named yeah.
Huh? Oh no, I was gonna
Are you
ask you a
pointing at me?
question.
Okay, no,
Yeah, I
okay.
was yeah, no, you've been asking me all these questions, but I would like to ask you one. How is it that you got into reaction videos like this? How long have you
Oh,
been doing it for?
okay. I did my book. So my book did well, right? And it
Hmm.
was unexpected. It was cool. So it's a little different. But I some of the old roadies or the old rock stars, their stories are better than mine. They just might not necessarily put together a book. So I started doing interviews, and they were really fun. And the roadie community, the music community, I watched them. But outside of that, there wasn't a lot. And then I did a little video that was like an homage on Eddie Van Halen, and I pulled
Hmm.
stories from some of the roadies, and I just put it into like a 10-minute segment, and like tons of people watched it. It was like tens of thousands of people watched the little segment on Eddie. And so I realized that maybe I could do stuff outside of the straight interviews, and that parlayed into doing a reaction video on Queen, actually, that wasn't very good. I'd never done it, and so I kept talking
What
over.
was the Queen reaction? What song were you
They
reacting
came out
to?
with that new track this year, I think, or last year. It was a brand new track where they put some stuff together. They found his vocals and Freddie's
Queen?
vocals. Yeah, and so they put together what they could. I loved it, but I remember Beavis and Butthead, and so I was talking over the video. So they're like, "Hey,
Uh-huh.
jackass, don't talk over the video." I was like, "Okay, okay, okay, cool." And then
Okay.
I did a second video, and I stopped it during the guitar solo. You, as a guitar player, would be like, "You idiot." And I started talking. They're like, "Dude, you don't interrupt the guitar solo." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that was pretty bad." Anyway, it was fun. And I had a lot of interaction. And the people started
Hmm.
telling me, "Oh, you need to check out this. You need to check out this." And I sort of started checking out this, going, "Wow, this
You just
band."
fell into it.
Yeah, it was fun. They were telling me all this really cool bands that I'd never heard of. And I'm like, God, there's wonderful music out there that I was unaware of.
Yeah, no,
And I
this is an
enjoy it.
incredible way to meet new, to be introduced to new music. But
Yeah,
speaking of Eddie Van Halen, I got a funny Eddie Van. Since we just listened to Toto, which is kind of ironic. I have an Eddie Van Halen story
sure.
that ties into that. Jeff Porcaro, my godfather, who did the original drums on that song, he passed away, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
And when he passed, there was a big tribute concert for him. Paul McCartney, Eddie Van Halen, I forget the name of his brother, but him too. Um, my dad, all Steely Dan, Donald Fagen, Walter Becker, bunch of big heads on the stage. After they finished performing, this story is a story my dad told me, his first and only encounter with Eddie, in a personal sense. They're in the green room after the show was gone over. They're all in there, and my dad says he watched Eddie Van Halen, who was fucked up, just just on pretty much everything you could think of. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably was,
there was
but
a
my
lot.
dad's
I've heard some stories that
yeah.
he indulged.
Oh, he definitely did. And the story my dad tells me is kind of evidence of that fact. And he says he watched Eddie fall off of the couch, on his hands and knees, crawl over to the table where there was a bunch of snacks. And he dunked his fist into this bowl of chips and he crushed his fist around a fistful of it, and then he, on hands and knees with a fistful of chips, crawls over to another table where there was a bowl of sour cream and onion dip that was covered with saran wrap, and he punches his fist through the saran wrap into the sour cream, and then with the sour cream filled fist of chips, he just shoved that into his face and just went back and forth for seconds and thirds. And that was the only time my dad ever met Eddie Van Halen
The
was
dinner of
at that.
champions.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that was a tale that was told.
I might have done that last night at a party we had over here.
Of
All right. It's a good story. Thank you for sharing. So
course.
let's try something different. Have you heard of a performer by the name of Dimash? He's out of Kazakhstan.
It sounds familiar to me, but not so much that I'm going to be like, yeah, I know who that is. But I am more than excited to get acquainted with his music.
Okay, deal. So let's jump into that one. Hey, the podcast is over. What are you still doing here? Well, while you're here, like and subscribe. Thanks.